Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jeremy and this is Recast from the Past, a show where we throw out those rose-colored glasses of nostalgia to rewatch some of our favorite classic content to see if it still holds up to the standards of today. So today we're going to be diving a little bit deeper into Degrassi, The Next Generation. Originally I wanted to do like episode by episode, but I soon found out that every episode is not worth watching and reviewing. So I decided, because we watched Degrassi Junior High School, Kiss Me Steph, and it had very similar themes to an episode that I remembered when I was watching Degrassi, which is when Manny decides to change her look and get all sexy herself. So I wanted to rewatch it because this episode is iconic for me for many reasons. I stan Manny Santos and Cassie Steele, the actress. And I think a lot of it has to do with this episode. So I wanted to rewatch it and see if I'm still feeling that same magic that I felt when I was a kid. So the episode is called You Got the Look. And it begins with Manny, Spinner, and Paige coming off the bus all giddy after a big win for their soccer game. Spinner says something about how a character named Sully bent the last kick before he scored.
You see Sully bend that last kick before he scored?
Now, I know nothing about sports, so I might be misunderstanding some cool hip soccer lingo, but I'm pretty sure his line was supposed to get cut off a lot sooner than it did, and so he was just creating some soccer gibberish, which is kind of funny. Which is literally me anytime anyone tries to talk to me about sports. Yeah, when he bent that last kick into the field goal and scored a sports point. Please stop talking to me. Watch me be totally incorrect, and bending a kick is definitely a thing. So anyway, Manny tries to make small talk with this star player Sully, and he's totally standoffish to her.
Did great today.
Thanks.
Congratulations.
But after, she's like, nailed it. Manny ends up confiding in Paige and Spinner about her crush on Sully, and they're like, yeah, you're not hot enough for him, but we can think of a lot of guys you'd be cute with. And that's when Manny delivers the iconic line, probably to nobody but me.
I don't want to be adorable. Bunnies and puppies are adorable.
I quote this to this day when I'm called cute. Like, I know it's stupid and you're really coming from a place of privilege if this is what you're concerned about, but I mean to say that I really related to Manny on this growing up. So yeah, this sets up the plot of this episode and her main issue, and really kind of her arc across several seasons, I want to say, and that is wanting to be the heartthrob men lust over, which is what I also want. So maybe that's another reason I'm a big fan of Manny Santos. So then we get this season 3 title sequence, which is completely, I think, completely different from season 1. We have a bunch of new characters that have been added on, and they even included the adults at the end this time, which is good because they definitely get a lot of screen time. So then we have Emma and Manny walking to school together, where Emma is sharing all her grand plans for the new school year that Manny really couldn't give a shit about. Manny instead is focused on her moment that she wants to share when she drops the bombshell that is her new look.
Not cute, not adorable. Hot.
For whatever reason, though, Emma has like almost nothing to say about it, and instead just like smiles awkwardly walking alongside her. But apparently almost everyone is hypnotized by this look, because even JT skateboards into a parked car. And it's a pretty cute look with this like J-Lo, Juicy Couture inspired tracksuit. But I'm mostly living for that ponytail removal moment. I think it's here she became a gay icon for me. I wish I had beautiful long hair that flowed out right when I did that. I love how they just walk past their friend who might have just fractured his spine with barely a glance in his direction. Then we get an introduction to this subplot about Joey getting excited for Craig's band because he used to be in a band, which we haven't seen yet, and Craig being embarrassed about it. And yeah, not very interesting, to be honest. Back at Degrassi, JT will not stop looking at Manny's
At me what?
doodles. And he like flirts with her by saying he's good at doodle interpretation, and it's cute, but I'm with Liberty here. I don't want to hear my crush hitting on some girl while I'm trying desperately to pay attention so that I can pass my comparative animal physiology midterm on frogs. Seriously though, they're barely whispering in this conversation.
Well, this flower one here. JT.
Anyway, Manny is appreciating the attention, and I'm happy for her. Although, let's be honest, JT and Manny is not the look. Back at Joey's home, he's trying to create this romantic moment with Sydney with this terrible, like, stock elevator music.
What can I say?
And candles haphazardly placed throughout the house. The candle holders don't even match the candelabrum. She deserves better. Anyway, they're interrupted by the sound of Joey's band playing in the garage, and Joey decides to go pop in on them. I love Ashley being the supportive girlfriend, while Angie tries her best to nod her head to the beat while she dies slowly inside. Joey tries to jam out when it becomes painfully apparent that he didn't even pass the 4 weeks of recorder training we all got in elementary school.
What's the key? H? I don't know.
Craig gets even more embarrassed, but honestly, I don't care about any of these shenanigans, especially while my queen is over at the mall discussing the JT situation.
Oh my god, you like him? No!
She decides she needs to elevate her look somehow, and decides on some thongs awkwardly placed in front of the food court. I'm sorry, how does she think a thong is going to elevate her look? Then I remember the iconic scene of her walking down the hallways of her school with the waistbands of the thong hiked up to her shoulders, essentially. Like, there is no way that look is sustainable. It will have sliced through her skin and severed a few arteries by first period. JT sees this new look and breaks his cheekbone on a door frame. She's gonna have this boy on life support before the episodes end. In their next class, we have Liberty catching JT trying to catch a glimpse of Manny's undergarments from across the room. We all know how Liberty is in love with JT, so she decides to call Manny out. She even says,
"You have so little confidence, you have to show your entire body."
she's really trying to come for my girl. Also, wouldn't the opposite be true? Like, it takes a lot of confidence to wear something like that, but I guess she means, like, confidence in your personality to not have to rely on your body, but still. I'm with Manny, though. I think she should just mind her own business and look elsewhere if it bothers her so much.
If some people don't like it, maybe they shouldn't look.
So she threatens to snitch to Mr. Radich, but at least in the next scene, we have Emma being the supportive friend.
You look great. You know, I wouldn't say it if it wasn't true.
So I know I made the joke earlier about the thong, but I actually think she looks quite good here. Her little dangling straps complement the thong quite nicely. So JT tries to put on the moves, but is interrupted by Sully shooting his shot successfully, because JT is all but dead to her after that.
Oh, sorry. What were we talking about?
So apparently Emma and Ashley are doing some kind of presentation on preserving our rainforest. And it's kind of interesting to me looking back how Emma's passion for the environment and conservation was kind of seen as this quirky personality trait and the butt of a lot of jokes.
Students improving the environment. Well,
But look where we are almost 20 years later. Amazon deforestation has been on the rise since 2012 and actually reached its highest point since 2006 last year. Some experts even say if we had heeded Emma's warnings and stopped deforestation 20 years ago, tropical forests could have got up to 78% of their old growth back. Of course, we can't do quite as much to stop the deforestation of Amazon rainforests when we live and vote in a country where they don't reside in. But what we can do is make sure we're doing our best to buy products that are sustainably sourced, voting for politicians who believe in climate change and want to do everything they can to protect Earth's natural ecosystems, and planting a tree in celebration of Earth Day, which is probably well in the past by the time I finally uploaded this video. Anyway, nobody who attended the presentation gives a shit about this because they're too busy checking out Manny's thong. So I'm really uncomfortable with the amount of screen time the thong gets, especially because Cassie Steele is a literal child here. Seriously though, nobody but Terry is even looking in the correct direction, and Emma just keeps yammering away in the background. We have to watch Sully awkwardly pronouncing Manny's full name, which is supposed to be endearing or seductive or something. Manuela.
and only by word from a manager.
Finally, Emma starts making her voice heard.
Tell them that by buying the toilet seat, they're destroying the rainforest. Our planet's lungs.
But I get the feeling this is where she's going to start turning against Manny and pulling a Vula. Ugh. But then we get interrupted with this boring subplot again with Caitlin telling Joey that he's too old to jam out with his adoptive teenage son, but I guess he's being over-enthusiastic and too involved in Craig's hobbies, which hashtag unrelatable content. I don't know. I don't really see the point of all this. I guess it's telling parents don't try to recapture your youth through your children's passions or something. I don't know. Ooh, but then they all make fun of him and get caught on candid camera, so that's fun. The drama of it, I mean, it's actually kind of sad.
I'm sorry, okay? It's funny. In a sad and pathetic kind of way. He's so deluded, and he doesn't even know it.
And just as we thought, Emma is all bummed out that no one was paying attention to her presentation. But Manny is feeling herself knowing that her milkshake brought all the boys to the yard. But she's definitely feeling herself a little too hard.
Oh yeah, did you say something?
Like, just because you're feeling sexy doesn't mean you gotta be rude. So Radich finally gets on her about her dress code, and I guess the only problem is that her thong is showing. You couldn't even have exposed shoulders in my high school, so that's why I have to let it all out now for being forced to hide these babies for all those years.
No more visible underwear.
So Joey watches the footage of the boys talking trash about him, like, right in front of Craig, and I'm like, ugh. This subplot started out pretty lame, but we got there. So this next scene, also iconic. Manny's solution to the no thong rule is to forego them entirely. And interestingly enough, I actually do think this makes the look appear a little less risque. But the transformation to like bubbly cute girl to full-on succubus is a little jarring.
Because I'm not wearing any.
At the end of the day, I support her looking whichever way makes her feel good and confident. Just because somebody decides to dress sexy doesn't mean you need to gawk over them like some malnourished dog salivating over a steak. So we get to bio and we get a lot more uncomfortable close-ups of Manny. And I'm starting to feel like Canada had their own Dan Schneider because even that first iconic scene was already excessive. Anyway, the entire class including... The entire class, including Liberty and Emma, try to catch a glimpse of her plumber's crack as she bends down to pick something up. But luckily, JT comes running in to save the day before that happens. I feel like there were many times in high school when a fellow student accidentally exposed a bit of booty cleavage, and I can guarantee no one was excited or interested in looking at it, but I don't know. So after class, JT finally works up the courage to ask Manny out, but unfortunately, she's already hitched her wagon to his train. What? What's the phrase? Hitched her dragon to his knight? Hitched her horse to his wagon. That's it. I think that's it. I don't know. Something. They're together now. I really can't stand Sully. Listen to how he tries to show JT he's the tough guy.
See this, JT? Bye-bye.
I'd be like, see this, Sully? Sit on it and rotate. And little would he know that was me offering him sexual favors, because I'm a big flaming homosexual. So then Emma comes riding in on her high horse, trying to give Manny a good scolding for breaking JT's heart. I'm like, how? JT got his hopes up, and that ain't her fault. She does have a point, however.
You're getting this huge ego.
But then she loses me again when she says,
You're dressing like an idiot.
excuse me, just a few scenes ago, you were telling her she looks amazing, and that
You know, I wouldn't say it if it wasn't true.
she's not up to your standards now that she doesn't have a thong showing Emma. So yeah, Manny doesn't take it well and they break up, basically.
Just forget this.
So back at Joey's place, we get this awkward exchange between him and Craig before Craig ultimately apologizes.
Joey, I'm really sorry.
And Joey confesses that back when he was in a band, life was amazing and full of wonderful possibilities. But fast forward 10 years and he has an emotionally damaged teenage stepson, no hair, and a soul-draining job as a used car salesman. Which wraps up that storyline. The episode ends with Manuela, formerly known as Manny, lamenting the loss of her old friends as they give her the death stare from across the street, probably wondering if the perpetually frowning high school soccer star was really worth all the trouble. I, for one, appreciate her tenacity, setting her sights on what she wanted, coming up with a game plan, and seeing it through to the end. Maybe if Emma had a bit of that, the rainforest would be saved by now. I mean, her goal for the year was creating that club, and we all saw how successful that was. In all seriousness, excluding all the uncomfortable close-ups of our teenage starlet, I still enjoy this episode. Both Kiss Me Steph and Degrassi Junior High School and this episode deal with a young teenage girl going through an image change to try to impress their male peers. This one felt a lot more focused and luckily did without all the catcalling and unsolicited kisses. I, of course, stan a girl coming into her own, feeling confident and ultimately owning her sexuality. I also do recognize how she became a bit of a mean girl to her best friend, which showed how getting lots of attention can lead to an overinflated ego. Definitely relevant to this day, especially in the LA gay scene. So stay sexy, but stay kind out there. But what did you think of this episode? Do you have any fond memories of it? Did it make you feel as uncomfortable as I did watching it again? Let me know in the comments down below. Please also like the video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching and see you next time.